Question number 10, Tracey Martin.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. To the Associate Minister of Education, what reports has she received about Hato Petera College buildings and property?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Nikki Kay.
While I have not received any formal reports on Hato Petera College, I did receive a verbal briefing today. Hato Petera College is a state integrated school, and the buildings and the property are the responsibility of the Roman Catholic Bishop of the Diocese of Auckland. However, I do understand that officials from the Ministry of Education have been working closely with the proprietor of the school over the last month and are meeting again tonight to discuss the matters raised in the recent ERO report on the school.
Supplementary question, Tracey Martin.
In light of that answer, has the Minister read the 2012 and 2014 Education Review Office report that identifies Hato Petera as a special character Roman Catholic Māori state school, and therefore the Ministry of Education has the ultimate responsibility for ensuring a safe physical environment is provided? And if not, why not?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, while I haven't specifically read that report, I can clarify for the member the way that our system works in terms of overall responsibility and property in this area. We fund about 66 million around state integrated schools. That money is, a large chunk of that is allocated to the diocese. They then allocate that to schools. That's why the relationship is and the issues are really with the diocese and the school at the moment. However, I am aware of the issues that have been raised around the hostel, and it is my expectation that there is a better quality, and that's why the Ministry will be ensuring that there is an inspection of that hostel in the next couple of months.
Supplementary question, Tracey Martin.
In light of the fact that the Education Review Office in its 2014 report identified Hato Petera as a special character Roman Catholic Māori state school, not an integrated school, is the Minister confident in the verbal briefing she received this morning that the school has been appropriately identified?
Honourable
Speaker?
Nikki Kay.
Again, I'm operating on the information that I have, but what I can say to the member is we have, the previous information that I gave to the last question around how our system works, it is very clear to me from the information that I've been given that it is the responsibility of the diocese to allocate that money. There are regulations under the Education Act around hostels, and there is a responsibility for that school to meet those regulations, and there has been previously an inspection, but as I said before, there are issues that have been raised in that ERO report, and it is my expectation that there will be another inspection.
All the Catholics.
Supplementary question, Tracey Martin.
In the 2012 Education Review Office report, in which Hato Petera hostel caregivers and school staff were commended for promoting safe environmental and emotional environment and supporting the learning of these priority learners, no mention was
Order,
made...
Can we have the question, please?
Certainly. No mention was made of any maintenance issues. Does this concern the Minister that 2 years later it is suddenly a matter of urgency?
Well,
Honourable Nikki Kay.
Well, Mr Speaker, look, there's 2,500 schools in New Zealand, so obviously I have not read that report in detail, but what I can say to the member is there are a range of hostels around New Zealand. All that we can do is do with the report, do what we can with the report that we've got now, which is that there are quality issues around that hostel, and that the responsibility lies with the school and the diocese, and we are raising those issues with them, and it is their responsibility to sort out any issues of quality.
Supplementary question, Tracey Martin.
Kia ora, Mr Speaker. Will the Minister accept that the $11 million of taxpayers' money spent on the ACT Party's Aspire scholarship subsidies for private schools would have been better spent on state special character schools such as Hato Petera and the priority learners they support?
Order. That question is a long, long way. I'm going to allow it to stand because I'm sure the Minister can handle it, but the question has to relate to the supplementary. Honourable Nikki Kay, if she chooses to answer.
Mr Speaker, no, and I'm very proud under our national government that every year that we've been in office under this government we've increased the education budget. It's a tribute to the Minister Parada. Well done.
Supplementary question, Marama Fox.
What reports has she received about the impact of Tūmanga Oranga, a specialist health sciences academy on site utilising Hato Petera College buildings to advance educational excellence for Māori seeking to enter the health sector.
Honourable Nikki Kay.
Mr Speaker, while I haven't received any formal reports, I have got information and that I understand that it's been extremely successful in raising student achievement. The program provides Year 11 to 13 students with leadership development, education support, and engages people in e-learning and mentoring. And I'm also aware that it's been so successful, and I think it is important for us to acknowledge that in this House, that they have another academy coming specifically around the armed services.
Question number 11, Nukarako.